In this activity, students will experience different forms of heat generation and explore different sources of heat energy by rotating around a variety of different heat generation stations in groups and making observations of each heat generation method. Students will need to think about how the heat is being produced and what the original source of energy is that gets turned into heat. Ideally, students will be able to directly feel the heat in their hands, but for some activities, it may be more practical to set up thermometers for students to observe. Some of these activities may potentially require supervision. It is therefore suggested that you schedule this lesson for a time when you have access to parental volunteers or educational assistants. Otherwise, simply select the options that are lowest risk for students to perform on their own. In the simplest station, students are instructed to simply rub their hands together and feel their hands warming up. Students should be thinking about friction as the heat generation mechanism, and the source of the energy is the movement energy or kinetic energy of the moving hands. And students may also think about the chemical energy in their muscles, which causes their hands to move in the first place. In the next station, students activate chemical hand warmers and feel the heat in their hands. Heat is generated in the chemical reactions, and the energy originates in the binding energy that holds the chemicals together. In this example, iron oxidizes to form rust, but you may need to look into the chemistry of whichever hand warmers you choose to use. At this station, students jog vigorously on the spot and feel their bodies warm up. This warming is mostly due to the chemical reactions in their muscles, with the energy originating in the chemicals in their cells. Using a powdered laundry detergent, students can place a teaspoon of powder in their hand and pour just enough room temperature water into their hand to fully wet the detergent. They should immediately notice the water getting warm due to the chemical energy of dissolving. Perform this activity over a sink or tub and make sure to use skin-safe detergent and that students wash their hands thoroughly afterwards. Alternatively, you can perform this action in a plastic bag or in a glass with a thermometer. Next, students can take a straight stick or a piece of dowel and rotate it vigorously on a piece of wood using their hands or a bow drill, and carefully feel the warm spot generated by the friction. This may also be a good opportunity to discuss traditional fire-starting methods of indigenous cultures in your area. Alternatively, if you have an adult assistant, you might use an electric drill, which turns chemical energy into electrical energy, which then gets turned into movement energy, which the friction transforms into heat. And finally, you may also have a station with an electric heater or an appliance like a hairdryer, which may require adult supervision. Students should think about how the moving electrons bounce into the atoms in the heating element, causing them to jiggle about, turning electrical energy into heat. As students are completing the activity, they should discuss their observations within their groups and fill in their worksheets. Encourage students to consider if the energy changes form multiple times before it becomes heat, and feel free to include alternative heat generation methods.